What if I told you that an NFL team could lose every single game in a season, have half-empty stands, and still pull in hundreds of millions of dollars in profit? And that for the billionaire owners, the NFL isn't just a passion project or a status symbol, it's one of the most lucrative and stable investments in the world. Why do these owners keep pouring money into stadiums, players, and marketing, knowing only one team will ever win the Super Bowl? Is this just a billionaire's playground? Or is there a hidden economic engine behind the NFL that makes it a financial juggernaut? Let's pull back the curtain and follow the money behind the touchdowns, tailgates, and trophies. Let's start with a scene. It's Super Bowl Sunday in Las Vegas. The stadium is packed, tickets are selling for thousands, and over 120 million people are watching at home. But while the players are fighting for glory on the field, the real action is happening off it. Because behind every touchdown, there's a business model so powerful that even the worst teams are cash machines. The NFL is a collective. All 32 teams are partners, and the league's revenue-sharing system is the backbone of its financial success. In 2024, the NFL generated more than $23 billion in revenue, more than any other sports league on the planet. Nearly two-thirds of that money is split evenly among all 32 teams. Each franchise received about $416 million just from the league's shared revenue before selling a single ticket or jersey. That's the power of the NFL's national revenue model. So where does this mountain of cash come from? The answer is media rights. The NFL's TV deals are legendary. Networks like Fox, CBS, NBC, ESPN, Amazon, and YouTube pay more than $110 billion over 11 years for the right to broadcast games. That's over $12 billion a year, guaranteed, no matter which teams are playing. In 2024, the NFL even signed a deal with Netflix to stream Christmas Day games, pulling in even more money. These deals are so lucrative that they make up the largest part of the NFL's revenue pie. In fact, 96 of the 100 most watched TV broadcasts in 2023 were NFL games. That kind of demand gives the league enormous leverage over broadcasters who compete fiercely for the rights. But TV money isn't the only source. The league also signs national sponsorship deals with brands like Nike, Bud Light, Visa, and Pepsi. Nike alone pays about $200 million a year to be the official uniform provider. These sponsorships add billions more to the NFL's bottom line. There's also licensing, video games like Madden NFL, official merchandise, and collectibles. The NFL's cut from licensing and merchandise is estimated at around $3 billion a year. All of this national revenue is pooled and shared equally, so even the smallest market teams get a slice as big as the giants. But that's just the league-level money. Each team also has its own local revenue streams. Think ticket sales, luxury suites, concessions, parking, and local sponsorships. In 2023, ticket sales and suite rentals brought in about $3 billion across the league. Concessions, parking, and in-stadium merchandise added another $1.5 billion. Teams keep all the money from food, drinks, and gear sold at home games, and while ticket revenue is shared, 34% goes into a pool that's split among all teams. Selling out your stadium still means more cash for your franchise. Stadium naming rights and local sponsorships are another goldmine. Companies pay tens or even hundreds of millions to put their name on a stadium. For example, Levi's paid $170 million to name the 49ers stadium through 2043. Teams also sell advertising around the stadium and on digital platforms, bringing in 2024, NFL teams generated $2.490 billion in sponsorship revenue, with more than 3,600 active deals across the league, from Bud Light to Verizon to Ford. And it doesn't stop there. The NFL has embraced new revenue streams like gambling partnerships, fantasy football, and international games. Teams are now opening betting lounges in their stadiums, collaborating with casinos and hosting games in London, Germany, and soon, Australia. Each international game brings in new fans, new sponsors, and new licensing opportunities. The league's global push is all about expanding its brand and revenue base beyond the U.S., and it's working. But what about the costs? Running an NFL team isn't cheap. The biggest expense is player salaries. The NFL has a hard salary cap, which means every team can only spend a set amount on players each year. For 2025, the cap is $279,200,000 per team. up from $255,400,000 in 2024. This cap is tied directly to league revenue. So as the NFL makes more money, so do the players. But player salaries are just the start. Teams spend big on coaches, front office staff, stadium operations, travel, and marketing. New stadiums can cost over $1 billion, and many are financed with a mix of private money and public subsidies. Even after all those expenses, most teams are wildly profitable. In 2023, the average NFL team had an operating income of $142 million. The Dallas Cowboys are the gold standard. They're worth over $10 billion, 0 cents, and bring in more than $1,200 million, 0 cents a year in revenue thanks to a packed stadium, massive sponsorships, and a global brand. But even the lowest revenue teams, like the Arizona Cardinals, still pulled in over $548 million last year. The NFL's revenue sharing ensures that everyone gets a piece, no matter how good or bad they are on the field. So what does it take to buy an NFL team? First, you need billions of dollars. The average franchise is now valued at over $5,700 million, and prices keep climbing. Buying a team isn't just about having the money. You need league approval, a solid business plan, and a willingness to play by the NFL's strict rules. But once you're in, the rewards are enormous. Teams are appreciating assets, and even the least successful franchises have seen their values skyrocket. The Bengals, once the lowest valued team, are now worth $5,250 million, up from $3,500 million just a year before. Why are NFL teams so valuable? It comes down to scarcity and stability. There are only 32 franchises, and the league hasn't expanded in decades. The NFL's business model, guaranteed national revenue, shared profits, and a salary cap that keeps costs predictable, makes it almost impossible to lose money. Even teams that struggle on the field are cash machines off it. That's why you see tech billionaires, real estate moguls, and international investors lining up for a chance to buy in. Profitability is almost guaranteed. In the past, some teams operated at a loss, especially if they overspent on players or stadiums. But today, with revenue sharing and booming media deals, almost every team is profitable. The league structure is designed to minimize risk and maximize returns. That's why team values have exploded. The average franchise was worth just $288 million in 2000. Now, it's over $5,700 million. The Cowboys alone are worth more than the entire league was 25 years ago. But the NFL's business model isn't just about splitting up the national pie. Teams have gotten creative with local revenue, too. The Green Bay Packers, the league's only publicly owned team, have invested over $370 million in stadium upgrades, adding thousands of seats and new amenities. This boosted ticket sales from $48 million to $71 million in just a few years. Teams also rent out their stadiums for concerts, soccer matches, and other events, turning a football building into a year-round cash generator. Corporate sponsors are everywhere. The Philadelphia Eagles have over 40 corporate sponsors, and league-wide, NFL sponsorship revenue topped $2,500 million in 2024. These deals range from putting company logos on practice jerseys to naming rights for stadiums and even partnerships with local restaurants and car dealerships. But the real magic of the NFL's business model is how it balances competition and cooperation. Revenue sharing means that even the teams in the smallest markets like Green Bay or Buffalo can compete financially with teams in New York or Los Angeles. The league's strict salary cap and collective bargaining agreements keep player costs predictable and prevent bidding wars that could bankrupt smaller franchises. This creates a level playing field, at least financially, and keeps the league stable. The NFL's focus on scarcity, just 17 games per team in the regular season, makes every game an event. This drives up TV ratings, ticket demand, and sponsorship value. Compare that to baseball or basketball, where hundreds of games can dilute interest. The NFL's short season means every Sunday feels like a national holiday, and advertisers pay a premium to reach those audiences. But what about the risks? Sure, there are risks. Bad seasons, injuries, even scandals. But the NFL's structure protects teams from most financial shocks. Revenue sharing and national TV deals mean that even in a down year, teams are still profitable. That's why owning an NFL team is less about winning and more about being part of a money-making machine. Could a regular person ever own a team? Probably not. The Green Bay Packers are the only publicly owned team with over 500,000 shareholders. But even there, the shares are more symbolic than financial. They don't pay dividends or appreciate in value. For everyone else, owning a team is the ultimate billionaires club. And what about the fans? Are they just along for the ride? Not at all. Fans are the engine that drives the NFL's business. Their passion fills stadiums, drives TV ratings, and sells merchandise. Without them, there's no business. That's why teams invest so much in fan engagement, community programs, and creating unforgettable game day experiences. The NFL has turned Phantom into a year-round business, with fantasy football, social media, and even off-season events like the NFL Draft drawing millions of viewers and sponsorship dollars. The NFL's business model is so successful that it's changed the way other sports leagues operate. Revenue sharing, salary caps, and collective bargaining agreements have become the norm across American sports, all modeled after the NFL. The league's ability to generate and distribute massive sums of money is unmatched, and it's the reason football dominates the American sports landscape. But there's more. The NFL is always looking for new ways to grow. International games in London, Germany, and soon Australia are bringing in new fans and sponsors. Digital platforms, social media, and gaming are all part of the league's plan to reach younger audiences and keep the money flowing. The NFL is targeting $25 billion in annual revenue by 2027, and it's well on its way. New streaming deals with YouTube, Peacock, and Amazon are bringing in fresh cash, and the league is expanding its footprint with games in Australia and Brazil. Whoa. So, could you just buy a team and start cashing checks? Not exactly. NFL franchises are exclusive clubs, and getting in isn't easy. But if you do, the rewards are huge. Teams are appreciating assets, and even the least successful franchises have seen their values soar. For most owners, the NFL isn't just a passion project, it's one of the best investments on the planet. At the end of the day, NFL teams make money because the league is a masterclass in collective bargaining, media rights, and brand building. The games are just the tip of the iceberg. Behind every touchdown and tackle is a business empire built on shared revenue, smart marketing, and a fan base that can't get enough. Whether you're a diehard fan or just someone who likes a good business story, the NFL's financial machine is as impressive as anything that happens on the field. And if you thought this was interesting, just wait until you see how some teams turn losing seasons into marketing gold, or how stadium deals can reshape entire cities. Because in the NFL, the real game is played in the boardroom, and winning off the field is just as important as winning on it.